Slowly getting through all this rain. California, it's like Hawaii out here, but colder. I feel like California's could be returning to its island status. Did you know that maps in the 1600s show California as an island? There's like an inlet between the main part of the United States and California, which is kind of cool, which is Nevada now, right? Anyways, I have been thinking a lot about midlife, as I am in midlife mermaid. Thinking about the challenges that start to come up when we hit midlife. Both men and women go through it, and I think it's characterized differently with men, but they're going through the struggle as well of like, oh, do I really want to keep doing this, whatever I've been doing? Am I, gonna make changes? I'm already in my 40s or 50s. Am I gonna make changes now? And of course, I mean, the astrology is always like change, evolve. So you'll find that validation almost in everybody's chart at some point. And that's what it's for. That's why we have Pluto returns. That's why we have Chiron returns to help push us into following our bliss. Because, I don't know, last winter, I really had just a dark night of the soul. It wasn't a night though, it was like a winter. Where it's like I felt completely like I had lost all my power, and it was kind of youthful power. My I don't know, the changes that were happening and had been happening from COVID and, just about destroying every small business around. I mean, some thrived, but it definitely took a toll. And I was also being called to do the healing work that I've been cultivating over the past 7 years, doing my own healing and understanding energy and working with biogeometry and my ancestors. It's been a cultivation, and it was sort of like when I thought I should be in this better place, I was in this really dark place. But I feel like the dark, it's always darkest before the dawn. And then it shifted when I really got down with understanding, I don't know, I went down a lot of rabbit holes around history and the history we've been taught versus what is also out there, which may be true or may not be true, because we live in this reflective reality. So whoever's writing the history, it's a reflection of also their perspective. And I also learned a huge thing about perspective. That perspective it can be such an illusion. One example is I thought, through my 20s and 30s, I was like, I never really liked my body. And then I look back on pictures now and I'm like, God, I was like so fit. I was running the beach. I was surfing all the time. I had a great body, but I was never satisfied. I never looked in the mirror and went, oh, you have a great body. And I feel regret about that, because it was like, wow, I could have appreciated myself. And part of that is just not, the perfectionism of my Virgo rising, for one thing, which is just a blessing and a curse, mostly a curse. But hey, Kitty has something to say, I think. What? He's so chatty. He loves the forest and is scared and petrified of it at the same time. anyways, yeah, so the self-loathing, which, working in all these ceremonies for about 6 years, really released. And it was like, oh, I don't loathe myself anymore. I actually really like myself. And part of what I did there too was just recapitulating my life. And it was, I used plant medicines, and then I was told that you're good. And I did the rest of the work, through ceremonies, sweat lodges, things like that. But whatever you're being called to do, there's so much to do, even with the breath and just sitting or just being in nature and being absorbed and connecting with the trees and all the energies of nature. Anyways, so synthesizing all the information about the history that we've been taught versus the other histories out there. There's basically many perspectives on history, and it is really shown that the history that a lot of us have been taught is actually not like the standardized history. It's a real simplification, and some of it just plain isn't true. I really changed my thoughts about the evolution because I know about ancient technology. I've been to the Great Pyramid, and I've seen these monoliths, these huge structures, and I know that it is incredible that these could have been built and we were like in caveman times or whatever, and coming from monkeys, which, I'm sorry, they're monkeys. Why are there still monkeys? We came from monkeys. Why are there still monkeys? It's a song I'm working on. Anyways, so synthesizing all that, and then also just looking at even the history of menopause and women. It's like male doctors observed women's behavior in menopause and were like, oh, they're going nuts because they can no longer reproduce. So we have to like keep them on birth control, and we gotta we'll write a book about it, and guess who backed it? The pharmaceutical company. Well, that's great. So these go back back to the 18th century, where they were just like, oh, women are going nuts because they're no longer producing. And we've had our powerful times and oppressed times, and there'll always be the rise and fall of women's power and women's sovereignty, and matriarchy. There's a lot of cyclical cycles of the rise and fall of everything, and this is true for all history. So when I did this understanding of history and started to synthesize all that, and then mixed it up with what people were saying about this reality according to experiences they've had, and understanding many philosophers, the ancient ones, and what they were writing about, and that there was this natural cycle that the earth goes through, and all traditions have recognized it, and they've written about it. And whether it's coming again or not, I mean, eventually it will. But that's not to say that I'm into the doom saying that is already so prevalent around, spiritual spaces. All the spaces are talking about the doom. And, maybe people are feeling the doom, but at the same time, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's good and bad. This is a polarized situation living on this planet. There is good and there is bad, and there will always be. But originally they didn't talk about it as good and bad. It was more like light and dark. But dark wasn't bad. Dark was dark. Dark was dark. Light was light. You know, live, evil. Let's live backwards. I mean, there's a lot of clues, even in our language, about this realm. And yeah, so I just started really like playing with the energies of this realm. And midlife, bringing it into midlife is all about looking at, I mean, your body's telling you, hey, you're getting hot, you're having these moments, you got to stop and be present, learn to be present with your body and learn to be present in the situation you're in. And yeah, are you really going to spend the next, part of your life with this person you've been with, or in the job you've been in? And, it's a time, it's an opportunity to shift and change. And living in California, well, I don't really know if there'll be retirement for me, but hopefully there will be. I say that, I cancel that out. I actually will be, I don't know, do I want to retire? I just want to change. That's what I really feel like, because I want to be productive. I want to be doing interesting things. I don't want to be taxing my body beyond its abilities, i.e. jewelry making for over 25 years is really hard on the body. The sitting is hard, the looking down, the repetitive stuff. It's challenging. So I had to really look at, what I was doing and how I can still do what I was doing and also start to do the things that really light me up, which is the healing work and really helping people raise their frequency through this amazing alchemical work from Egypt, biogeometry. And also I work with my ancestors, and I have guides. So I definitely am super clear with my team. And I've had to also really do a lot of work with the wounded ancestors because they were causing trouble, mostly in relationships. So it's really good to get into observing your behavior and seeing where you fall off and where you slip into modes that are very negative, because we live in this powerful reflective reality. So our thoughts and our beliefs are really showing, it's being reflected right back at us. So it's really important to understand. And I also feel like it's magnified, and that just could be, the phase of life I'm in personally, with my astrology. But it also, I just think that in this quickening time where people are just increasingly influenced by energies and manipulated by social media, and because we have all these ways now that we're being influenced, and the phone is definitely is something that I've experienced no phone in my life, pre all that. And now, having a phone and having that experience is totally different. And all the electrification of our environment, up is down, down is up. They say electric's good. It's actually maybe not so good. So we got to work with the illusions and delusions and really get clear. Meow.